Hi there, it's Lori. It's Throwback Thursday. You're seeing me face on so you can see that it's spooky season. So, what I'm about to show you is one of the most fascinating paintings I did. It was a gift to somebody, so I don't have the physical item, so I tried to take as many photos as possible. I will talk about it more in the audio because I really want you to get the full effect of this bottle that I painted. It was a green glass bottle. It might have been lemon juice, maybe, or apple juice. I'm not sure. It was not potato juice. It could have been wine too, but I think it was apple juice or lemon juice, this bottle. Anyway, but before I tell a dating story, as promised for this week, I wanted to just show you this. I don't know if you can see that, where it swelled up. That's not a cold sore. I'm only going to partially demonstrate while my phone goes off. I don't know if I had a phone call or what, but I picked up my phone. It wasn't attached to anything, and I picked it up too hard. It flew out of my hand, hit me in the lip. It was bleeding and it swelled. As you can see, this happened last night. Yeah. I have special talents. I do. So this Throwback Thursday, I wanted to go, we needed to go in the Wayback Machine. So I kind of told this story a little bit in the chat of Live Fantastical Michelle and Cheyenne's live on Monday, or last Monday. Yeah, last Monday, because then I said, oh, next week I'll do dating stories. So here's what happened. Well, I'm saving the craziest one for tomorrow, but what happened was I was a freshman in college. I had been seeing my ex-husband while I was in high school, but then we broke up as I went into my freshman year, but we were still friends or whatever, went to church together, that sort of thing. And I had forgotten, I promised to go see Back to the Future 3 with him. Actually, it might have been Back to the Future 2. No, it was definitely 3, because it was the Western one. So, Back to the Future 3. But again, we were just friends, so it didn't stick in my head that I was supposed to see it with him. Anyway, the weekend before my birthday, I went on a date with a guy. I'll tell you a little bit more about that, because his follow-up story is funny and messy. Sorry for that brief interruption. My husband brought me something. Yes, here's my mug. I always have interesting mugs. Get your jingle on. Jingly jangly. All right, wrong season. This is my other mug, because I like big mugs, and I cannot lie. Anyway, he brought me coffee, which is a rarity, but I need coffee today. That's a whole long story. We're not going to go there. Anyway, the guy that I went on a date, I met him in one of my college classes. Again, I was a freshman in college. And we decided we were going to go see Back to the Future 3 at a drive-in movie theater. So this was a couple years ago, maybe. This was 89 or 90, one of those years that this happened. So we go to the drive-in, we see Back to the Future 3. 2 days later, or maybe even the next day, I see the ex-boyfriend, now friend, going to be my husband, and then my ex. Yeah. Anyway, I see him at church, and he's like, oh, can you still go to Back to the Future 3 with me on this day? I think it was Thanksgiving week. I think. And on the Wednesday, and I was sure. But I had to act like I had never seen the movie because I knew that was going to be messy. So I saw that movie twice. Of the Back to the Futures, it's not my favorite. It's probably my least favorite of the two, but not because I had to see it twice and pretend the second time I didn't see it. He had no idea. I have some acting skills if absolutely necessary. So the guy I went on the date with, I went on another date with. He was in that midst of, I was kind of seeing 4 different dudes. And I say seeing, 2 of them I only went on one date with. And then this guy came to maybe a New Year's party. My sister was house sitting trying to totally remember the story. That was a couple years ago. Um, and one of my friends was there, and I could tell he and I just, it was friends. We were both friend zoning each other. We had a couple of really fun dates. The drive-in was fun, but whatever. I mean, it wasn't. But we went on another date that was a lot of fun because he was a very good dancer, and it was a 50 sock hop up at a different college. But he had friends there, so anyway, lots of fun to date. But it was just, I'm sure you've all been there, just friends. And then he came to this New Year's Eve thing, or maybe even New Year's Day. I think it was New Year's Eve. And I had a friend who came, and I could just see that they were vibing. Like, I'm like, and I told him afterwards, I'm like, I can see you're interested in her. We're just friends. Go for it. And they ended up, this was not like me pawning him off on my sister. This guy was actually a decent guy. My sister's a saint. We'll just keep saying that. Anyway, so they ended up dating 3 or 4 years. That guy I went to Back to the Future 3 with, and then it didn't work out. And oddly enough, then she met her husband, and her husband, his family was really good friends with that dude's family. So 6 degrees of separation. Sometimes you need a 6, not 3 or 2. Sometimes it's messy. Anyway, he's a good guy. So it wasn't really a bad date, other than like the second one and faking not having seen it was hard. And because it wasn't that, like some movies you can go see over and over. That was really not one of them. I probably didn't see it again until like 20 years later. But anyway, thought you all think that was funny. Now I'm going to do audio with just pictures because you need to just see these pictures of this painted bottle I did. And I'll try not to talk forever on that one because I'm already longer than usual. So I'm saving the best dating story for Friday. So you got to watch the Friday video. Okay? Watch the Friday video. See you on the other side. Okay, let me describe what's going on with this bottle. I kind of tried to take pictures of each little section, but the first shows what I would call the front side, and the second shows the back side. But it was really cool because the light was coming through, so you could see the front side as well. And kind of as I was turning it, hopefully that comes across there. I made this specifically for a friend who's really into like ghost hunting or whatever you want to call it, that kind of stuff. And what it was I found a there you go. I didn't find one of those, but anyway, I found a stencil, I guess, on Etsy. This might have even been the same stencil, and I can't post it here, or Pinterest, because I don't know if it was free. If I verify that it's free and you can get the little stencil, then I'll put a link in my description box. But or if it's not free, if I can find it to actually link it, then I'll put it in the description box, because either way. But anyway, I had the stencil and just kind of looked at it, but I wanted to make it extra spooky for this lady because I knew she was super into that stuff. So anyway, when I was painting it, like the way the paint, I think I've explained this before. When you paint on glass, unless you are using glass paint, you have to rough up the surface. So you take some baking soda. Yeah. Baking soda or baking powder? I think baking soda, because I think that's rougher. And you just turn it into a paste, and you just like scrub, almost like you would use sandpaper, right? You just scrub the outside, and it kind of gives you a little bit more for the paint to cling to. Anyway, so I had done that with this, and I wanted it a little spookier than the other white one that you saw last week. And I wanted to give this one its own Thursday because I have actually several things I need to show in the next 2 Thursdays as Halloween approaches that are all Halloween things. I made all of these in 2020, I believe, and various and sundry mediums. That's what you call it, right? What you paint on. Anyway, so when I was painting the doorway, it was just an open doorway, and I decided, I'm going to make a creepy silhouette out of there. And then I was trying to get the windows to kind of look see-through on the house. I feel like it's a little bit like an Addams Family house, but it's not totally like that, but it still has those vibes. And so each window I kind of went and did some thinning out of the paint and swirling. And some of the windows, they look really super mysterious, or like I painted someone or something in the window, but I didn't. So it's it's one of my favorites just because it was so cool, and she loved it so much. I feel like this is something that Armchair Chef Lori would really enjoy as well. She would love this. But one last advertisement for Denver Botanic Gardens ghost tours. If you are at all interested in the paranormal or hearing the history there, they have a couple more weekends of ghost tours. I'll put a link for the Denver Botanic Gardens ghost tours in the thing. It's not. I'm way more into the history. I kind of I don't mind cute spooky. I actually like cute spooky. I liked this, even though it's a little bit spooky. Um, but the ghost tours, it was just so fascinating, and it was like I liked the history of it. And with that, I'm going to throw the grave historian in here. Please go support him. Um, his stuff is not spooky at all. It's more totally historical or just peaceful. It's anyway. Go watch him. But that was a just an extra shout out, random plug for him. But Red is lovely, so go follow him up. I really I just really enjoyed this painting, but the one where the light's coming through, it's on the back side, but you can see the front side. You just miss a lot of the detail that with that one, but it's just so cool. And the color of that deep green glass, which I wish I could remember what was in that bottle. But again, it was a gift, so I can't even look at it to look at the bottom like I did with the potato juice bottle. So anyway, thank you all for coming in. I appreciate you so much. Thanks for coming in. And can I get an amen?